In the whirlwind era of the 1960s, when jet travel was revolutionizing the world and the very concept of personal identification was still in its formative years, one young man managed to outsmart some of the most powerful institutions in America. Frank Abagnale Jr., a name that would eventually become synonymous with brilliance and audacity, embarked on a con man's journey that began before he was old enough to vote. His exploits would not only capture the cultural imagination for generations, but also profoundly impact the way society thinks about identity and trust. Born in 1948 in Bronxville, New York, Frank Abagnale grew up observing the subtleties of adult behavior. Though his family life gave little hint of what was to come, the aftermath of his parents' divorce set him on a rebellious and fateful path. By age 16, Abagnale left home and found himself needing to support himself in a world that did not offer easy paths for a teenager with no credentials. Yet, what he lacked in means, he more than made up for in ingenuity. His first brushes with crime were modest, modifying driver's licenses to appear older in order to get work or cash checks. Yet these forays revealed a unique gift, a remarkable ability to mimic, forge, and impersonate. What began as small-scale schemes quickly escalated into one of the most elaborate and successful series of impersonations ever conducted. Abagnale's primary tools were not violence or coercion, but charm, meticulous observation, and a deep understanding of how people interpret authority. His best-known con involved impersonating an airline pilot for Pan American World Airways. At a time when air travel had a mystique of glamour and exclusivity, Frank forged pilot licenses and donned the crisp uniform he'd procured using counterfeit credentials. Confidently walking through airport terminals, he enjoyed the privileges of the profession: free flights across the world, luxury hotel accommodations, and above all, the unquestioned trust of everyone around him. To airline employees and passengers alike, he was not a teenager from New York, but a seasoned captain. Not content with one profession, Abagnale expanded his repertoire. For a time, he posed as a chief resident pediatrician at a Georgia hospital, leveraging his charisma and knowledge gleaned from textbooks and keen observation. The hospital trusted him with significant responsibilities before he moved on to his next impersonation, Assistant Attorney General in Louisiana. Somehow, Frank managed to pass the bar exam after only brief study, a testament to his intellect and adaptability. At every turn, his confidence convinced people to ignore the implausible and accept the impossible. Perhaps most notorious of all were his exploits with bank fraud. Over the course of just a few years, Frank Abagnale cashed over $2 million in fraudulent checks. He crafted innovative techniques to skirt detection, exploiting gaps in banking security, using everything from altered checks to sophisticated forgeries. His criminal wanderlust took him to over 26 countries, always staying one step ahead of the authorities. Eventually, his world tour of deception caught up with him. After several high-profile escapes from custody, including an extraordinary flight from a moving airplane, he was finally apprehended at age 21. Yet his story did not end in disgrace. The U.S. government, recognizing his unique expertise, enlisted his help in uncovering fraud. Later, he became a respected authority on security and served as a consultant, helping banks and law enforcement agencies detect and prevent the very crimes he once perfected. Frank Abagnale's life inspired the book and film Catch Me If You Can, etching his exploits into popular legend. More importantly, his actions forced banks and institutions worldwide to re-examine the ways they identify and verify individuals, spurring major reforms in ID systems, background checks, and fraud detection protocols. Through deception, Frank Abagnale Jr. exposed societal vulnerabilities and ultimately contributed to making the world more secure.